Hey there guys, it's Philly from Fidelity Factory here. Find me on Twitter at PowerPhil1. Today we're just going to look at how you can make a field that double checks to make sure it's a phone number. So that if I type in something like 123, 123, 1234 in this format, it quite happily accepts it. However, if I type in anything different, let's say I just remove a number out of here, it doesn't like it. Or if I put in letters instead, if I put in an A there, doesn't like that. A, B, C, doesn't like that. It only likes it formatted in this method I'm highlighting here. 3 numbers, dash 3 numbers, dash 3 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I missed my 1, 2 back here. And it's only happy when it's in that format. So that's what we're going to look at today. I'm going to take a moment here and clear out all the code I have here, and we'll build this from scratch. So I've cleared out some of the code that I had in there. There's really nothing left. I mean, the only thing that I left in is on my submit button. On select of that, it gives me a success. It just notifies me your information has been submitted, which isn't ideal because, well, there's no information there. So there's no error checking here at all. So this is part of a series of videos I've been doing on this kind of error checking theme. But once again, all of this can be found and way more information can be found in the isMatch section here that Microsoft has provided. So just Google PowerApps isMatch and you'll find that. But let's have a look at how we ensure that this is a phone number. So I'm going to put this code down here on the submit button so that when I click it, I'm going to run a quick check to see is there any errors in what we're looking at. So, like the other videos we looked at on these errors, we're going to put in a variable. So, update context, put in a curly bracket, and we're going to call this var, and let's call it mobile error because it's kind of like we're going to format it for a Canadian mobile phone in that format: 3 numbers, 3 numbers, and 4 numbers. So, var mobile error, we'll call it. And here I'm going to put in my if statement. So my variable could be either true or false. So I'm going to say if, and this is where we use that isMatch statement. So if isMatch, and now if you remember, we're going to grab the field that this is. So let's see what's the name of our field here. Over here, it's txt ID numbers, what I had it called from a previous video. Let's update that to be a phone number. So previously txt mobile number, let's call it, just for the sake of having things up to date. So we're going to use that. That's the field we want to check to make sure that is a phone number. So txt, and we should get it down here, mobile number dot text, because we want to compare the text that's in that field. So if isMatch txt mobile number dot text, I'm going to get rid of that bracket there. In our previous video, we just put in a / D plus, which is just the way to check its multiple digits. For this phone number, it's going to be a little more complicated because what I want to really check is that it's / D and 3 digits after that. So 3 digits. So / D curly brace 3, close that curly brace. And then I'll want to make sure that there's a dash in the middle. And the same again then. After that, then it's / D, curly brace, 3 digits. A / or actually I need another little hyphen, and / D, curly brackets, 3 digits again. And that's it. Oh, actually, in our phone numbers here, the last section here, it's 3, 3, and 4, so 4 digits. I'm going to close my quotation marks there. At this point, I can close my bracket for if it's a match. Put in my comma, because if it's a match, well, I don't want an error, I'm going to set it to false. If it's not a match, I'm going to set it to true, so that there is an error then. At this point, I can close my bracket of my if statement, and close my curly brace that began it all, close another round bracket, and then a semicolon to finish. So just to look at that, what it's checking is is that field txt mobile.text? Does it match this format here of 3 digits, a hyphen, 3 digits, a hyphen, and 4 digits? And if it does, well then let's set our error to false, because there's no error. And if it doesn't, let's set our error to true. So, like always, I check this a bit using a little cheat. I'm going to put in a label over here. I'm going to give it a border so I don't lose it on the page. And on the text attribute of that, I'm going to put in the variable, so var mobile error. So here now we'll be able to take it for a test run. Let's see. So if I put in ABC, we should get an error. Yeah, and it says true. Ignore the green bar at the top, we still have to put in that code. But if I put in number formatted the way we want it, we get false because the error does not exist. If I take even one of those numbers away, it's back to true. So our variable is working exactly how we want it, and now it's just about, like before, like in other videos we've done, applying, let's say, some of those effects. So let's start with our unsubmit. Right now, if we notify, I've got a notify, it says your information has been successfully submitted every time. We don't want that anymore. We want it to be only submitted successfully if it actually matches. So I'm going to say if var, and let's say mobile error, and I'm getting an error here, so let's see why that is not working for me. So something a little bit off here. So if var mobile error, and there it is, I think I just had everything bunched up a bit too tightly. If var mobile error, so if there's an error, then I'll actually want to put in a different notify. So I'm going to steal this one here. And I'm going to put it in here. If there's an error, well then I don't want it to submit. I'm going to say there is an error. And I'm going to put in success here is what makes it green. So let's put in error. That'll make a nice little kind of red mark instead. I'm going to close that bracket, put in a comma, and I'm going to have to add a little bracket here at the end as well, because now we've got this nice if statement, so that if there's an error, it's going to show this error message, and if there's not, it's going to show success. So let's try that out. This time, because there's an error, we've got that red line at the top, or the red bar at the top, and if we fix it up, it's green because it's formatted correctly now. So, as always in all these videos, I think I talk about how annoying some of those bars are at the top. They can be hard to get rid of. So the very last thing is let's get our border and border color and thickness to kind of be thick and red if there's an error. So let's put in our if var, and once again I've just clicked on my txt input here and I'm on the attribute that's border thickness or thickness. So if var mobile error, so if there's an error, let's make it 4, otherwise let's make it 1. So if there's an error, it gets a really thick border. And why I do that is it helps the red stand out. So now I've just swapped over to the border color attribute of that text input. And now I'll say if, once again, var mobile error. I'm going to make my border red. I'll have to add a bracket here on the end. I've also forgotten a comma here. So now if we take this for a test run, if everything's good as it is here, nothing changes on this field and we get that nice green submission line at the top. But if we format this a little bit incorrectly, like let's say we remove even our hyphens here in between and we just put in spaces, when I hit submit, there's a problem. So that's where that red thick border comes in. It kind of helps highlight that this is an issue. So that's how you use the isMatch function to just kind of format it in a certain way and number in, let's say, into a phone number style. It's something we had to do for a client recently because their database has all their numbers set up like this. So when adding, let's say, a new employee, they wanted to make sure that the employee's data got entered into that kind of style rather than with no dashes in between the 3 numbers, and 4 numbers. So hopefully that helped, and I'll see you next time.